Good morning and welcome to Tuesday's Market SITREP or Situation Report here at Top Gun Options. My name is Matthew Buckley. My call sign is Wiz, and we have a great looking one-day trade, a weekly options trade. We placed a bear call spread on the S&P 500 yesterday using the 28.20 and 28.25 strikes, looking to get filled at about $1.05, and that's risking about $5,900 to make $1,600. That trade is currently up 40%. When I looked a couple minutes ago, as Jerome Powell's getting ready to testify here, that trade was down here at 55 cents. So that's a 40, 48, 49% gain in a day. So great looking one-day trade. Here's what we're going to do. On Thursday at 1 o'clock, we're going to talk about Q2 earnings. Netflix last night just absolutely imploded. So is the market going to sell off here on the FANGs, especially after this rip your face off rally off the 50-day moving average of the S&P 500? We're running out of airspeed right here. We're going to stall. Just like we coming off the 200-day moving average, kind of looks like the golden arches here. You got an M-looking pattern going on here. There's no way in heck this rally is going to continue through Q2 earnings. It's just not going to happen. So I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to open our Thursday afternoon live trade brief. It's called Analyze Your Trade and Debrief. That's this Thursday, the 19th at 1 o'clock. We're going to talk about, hey, are we going to sell 2Q earnings or buy with both hands? I think we're actually going to do a little bit of both. We're going to be selective with our buying, what we buy with both hands, and what we're going to sell. So here's what you need to do. Head to go.topgunoptions.com/brief, because that's what we do here. We do live trade briefs. Head to go.topgunoptions.com/brief. Okay, let's get strategic real quick and talk about what's going on. I've never seen a more ridiculous and frothing out the mouth reaction out of our liberal media than I did yesterday after the summit. I get it, folks. The media. The president could have walked up to Putin and punched him in the face, and they would have said he didn't hit him, hard enough or something like that. So it's absolutely disgusting what's going on in this country and how polarized we are. I get what liberals are saying, but accusing the president of treason, and then, of course, you have rhino Republicans, Republican in name only, folks like John McCain. How many of you would love to be in a job like John McCain where you don't go into work one day this year and you still get your paycheck and you get Cadillac health care, right? John McCain's one of those guys who tells veterans, like, hey, the VA is good enough for you. You don't need private health care. Then gets on his own jet and flies to the Mayo Clinic. But I digress. But anyway, folks, I get it. Donald Trump can't tell the difference, or it's personal to the guy, right? There's two things going on, right? The president, won fair and square. So there's kind of this whole Russia collusion thing. And then there's whole Russia being involved in our election. I get it. But those are two separate things. But the dude yesterday put them together at one, and he takes it very personally. I would too. So a little bit of a swing and a miss. I get it with the president, but calling the man treason or Putin's poodle, it didn't help anybody. It's not going to help anybody. If you love the guy, you love him. If you hate the guy, you hate him. If you're an independent, I'm going to still Bill Clinton and use it and say it's the economy, stupid. And it truly is going to be the economy. That's what people vote with. So yesterday wasn't his finest moment, but treasonous and all these other frothing at the mouth things are just comical. So the same liberals who are frothing at the mouth and the same liberal media are doing what? They love the intelligence community. Well, a couple of years ago, I thought the intelligence community was stupid and WMDs and got us into a war and we can't trust our intelligence community. And now they love them, which, of course, is the same intelligence community, the CIA, the FBI, whose leadership you want to throw around a treason word. That is where the treason lies, folks, with creating a fake dossier and giving it to the FBI and lying to a judge, getting a warrant, spying on American citizens, and then trying to usurp or unseat a duly elected president. So the role reversal is comical. The market, which is why you're here and listening to me, doesn't care right now. Remember, one of the wisisms you're going to learn when you become a member here at Top Gun Options is the market only cares when it cares. Right now, it don't care. Look at all this stuff back here. This was all trade war fears. We still have a trade war going on. As a matter of fact, we're actually shooting in the trade war now. We have tariffs flying back and forth. Well, look at that and look at here, right? So the market only cares when it cares. So that's more politics than anything. What I care about or what the market's going to care about for the next day or 2 days is Jerome Powell's testimony. Right now, I think he's speaking in front of the Senate. And we're also going to care about earnings. Like I said, Netflix last night was absolutely a big subscription miss, and Netflix imploded. So how does that – the FANGs have been a lot of the firepower behind this blue-collar rally. I mean, we were on the verge of smashing through this 200-day moving average back in April and May, and we rallied. I mean, Amazon is a massive – we're super long in Amazon. But Amazon's been one of the main reasons this market's headed higher. I'm also glad we didn't do an Amazon weekly options trade yesterday because we're getting a little flatness to down on Amazon with their Amazon Prime Day, kind of a little bit of a fail from all the metrics I'm seeing. So yesterday we didn't place a weekly options trade. We had a weekly options trade expire last Friday for a max profit of $2,100. So risking, here I'll show you. Risking $5,400 to potentially make, risking, that's the wrong one. Yesterday we reviewed Amazon. So right here, so risking $5,400, here it was, risking $5,400 to potentially make $2,100. This expired Friday for max profit of $2,100. This was a bull put spread. This 17.25, 17.12 and a half, 17.10. So great looking trade, but I got to be honest with you, the FANGs ain't going to. The FANGs aren't going to power us higher here, especially if they miss. Goldman Sachs was a beat, but also kind of a black eye in their trading, right? Their FIC, it's called, Fixed Income, Currency, and Commodity. And oil, starting to see some oil in the news here. We trade XOM, ExxonMobil, and we also trade XLE, the SPDR ETF. The U.S. expects China to buy even more Iranian oil after the sanctions kick back in November. Thanks. With friends like that, who needs enemies? And that's one of the president's point. I mean, Russia has the GDP of Texas, folks. Trump is convinced that Russia is not the enemy here, that China is. And I kind of think he's right. I get their nuclear power and everything like that, but they're not. This is the economic and military threat to the United States, not Russia. It ain't an economic threat. It might be a military threat, but it's not economic. So oil is starting to rear its ugly head again. But yeah, market's a little flat right now. Dow's about down 50, Nasdaq's down about 13, 14, and S&P's down about 5-ish. We're going to sit here and we're going to listen to Jerome Powell. But as I predicted last week, we're going to take a break and we're gonna chop around just like this. I said last week if I could cut and paste what happened in May right here, I'd do it because that's exactly what I think is going on here. As I said, Goldman announced reports, best Q2 in 9 years. I used to love the Death Star. That's what I called them. It was Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley was kind of my Olympic triad in the financials. And I booted Goldman Sachs about a year and a half ago because Lloyd Blankfein an idiot. He opened his Twitter account like, a year ago? And the first thing he did was, for a week, he trolled President Trump on Twitter. I'm like, dude, why don't you go run your fixed income, currency, commodity, investment banking businesses instead of trolling the president? You've missed for like 3 or 4 quarters in a row. And finally, that dude, and made horrible trades with Venezuela. So that dude's finally leaving. He's the guest that won't leave. But as I said, equity trading disappointed there. And I also don't like that. I'm staying away from the FANGs, folks. Remember, to me, Amazon is not a FANG. It's its own services company. It uses technology, but it's not a FANG. Look at this moment of truth for Google as record EU antitrust fine. Look at this. What's the fine? $2.8 billion. Now, that might sound insignificant, and maybe the founders of Google could find that in their couch. That's not an insignificant number, folks, to a company, to a public company. That is a big deal. So whether it's the EU or here in the United States, look at the SEC, who was it, the FBI, a bunch of alphabet soup government agencies are looking into Facebook. So be careful of these limousine liberal tech companies, folks, because the chickens are going to come home to roost. Tesla continues to be a comedy, and we already talked about Facebook. So, all right, guys, I got to run because I want to sit here. I want to listen to Jerome Powell's testimony. I'll see many of you today at 1 o'clock in our primary live trade brief. If you want to join me today at 1 o'clock in our primary live trade brief, we're going to talk about all of this and more, especially one of the hedges that we have on that is looking pretty good on a day like today. Just scroll down on our homepage and head over to the advanced trial. This isn't based on skill level. It's just based advanced. You can trade those weekly options that we talked about, that bear call spread that we placed yesterday. We could get out of that thing right now for about a 50% gain in a day. That's all the advanced trial means, is it has weekly options in it. If you don't want to trade weekly options, or that does sound too advanced, and do the beginner or intermediate. It's $14, $28, and $38 for 2-week test flights. Okay. All right, folks. So I got to run. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see many of you at 1 o'clock, or make sure you join us for the free live trading session Thursday at 1 o'clock by heading to go.topgunoptions.com/brief. I'll talk about Amazon. We're going to talk about oil. We're going to talk about a lot of things, folks. It's going to be fun. So I'm just going to open the doors to our regular Thursday 1 o'clock brief to the public. Okay. So have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge, and God bless. We'll see you.